Amazing. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Know Wallet Demo 35, 35th. Today we're going to discuss multiple things at once. So, yeah, be prepared. We're going to start with our recent release of 6.3 version, which is community requested features. Then we're going to highlight what we are working right now, which is multi-staking dashboard. And if needed, we can talk about the roadmap and what's coming next. So let me allow others to join. And while we're waiting for others, by the way, you can feel free to scan this QR code if you're watching the recording on the YouTube to join our channels, or you can find the links for our communication channels in the description of the video. So let's start with our recent release, which is 6.3, community requested features. This time, we decided to address the feedback from the community regarding the governance and the security UX, which means that we have taken into development and released the features of editing the search and filters on the governance tab. And we added the features to approve any operation which you start in a Node wallet using your PIN or the biometry. And you can also now turn on and turn off the biometry on your operations in Nova, such as like entering the wallet or, for example, approving the operations each time you do them. So let's take a quick look on these features, and let's also talk about some hidden features which you get from this. And let's start from the governance features. So if you go on the voting tab now, you would be able to see the new features, which are basically located here. So you can now search across the referendums. This search is basically works exactly the same like you can see on, for example, assets tab in the Nova. So you can search by any information that you see here. So for example, we can take the ID as an example. So 206, it quickly shows on the screen 2001. But you can also search using the words, like for example, right for the CryptoZilla. So anything that you want to quickly define in referendums is now available to you, either like ID or the name. So yeah, you can easily navigate through this page now if it gets like tons of the elements. For example, on Kusama, it's pretty crowded already. And speaking about the crowding, you can now filter these referendums that you see. So you can filter them by your voted. So you can see all the referendums that you have voted, which are in ongoing state or which are in the completed state. For example, 69 here, right? But what is interesting use case is not voted. And not voted is actually changes this page for you and how you interacting with the governance, so how you participating in the governance, because now it's some kind of like the list of the referendums that you have to work through or vote through, right? And what I mean is that you can see right now the 9 referendums, and I can go and vote for this one. So I will just vote blindly with my 0 votes. And what will happen is actually this referendum will basically be gone from my screen. So now you can see that ongoing is 8, which means that I can go through all this collection of referendums using this unvoted filter, and that will clean up the whole governance tab for me, which means that I can be always in this state that I will not miss any referendum, and as soon as I vote to the referendums, they just gone from the screen, so they disappeared because I basically vote them out. So this is a really nice usage of not voted filter, right? And this is actually was the precise use case for the user, so that they can easily understand what referendums they have not voted for. So yeah, this is kind of changed UX and improves it a lot for this governance participants. So that's about those 2 amazing features for the governance tab. Now let's take a look on the security ones. I'm using the Android version, so we can find out this biometric auth and approve with PIN as the new features. And I would like to remind that we also have the safe mode for the Android. And if you wonder what it does, you can easily press on it. And this basically describes that it will disable the screen recording and taking the screenshots, which is super helpful if, for example, you have a malware on your phone. So that will be basically locking the functionality of this malware. But it's also just helpful if you accidentally record your screen by yourself and you open the no wallet with the data that you would not like to show, or for example, you screen sharing. So the safe mode is really allows you to prevent such situations from happening, and it also allows you to display to hide the content from the minimized version of the app. But this was before. Now we have two more features, which is basically disabling and enabling the biometric auth. So if you have the biometrics such as like Face ID or like an eye scan or fingerprint on your Android device, that will be allowing you to manage these settings for the no wallet application itself. So you can disable and enable them. And here you can see the message for me, because I'm using the emulator, that's saying that I need to enable the biometrics in the settings. So I do not have them, I cannot enable it. But now the users who have them basically can benefit from this. But what is interesting feature here is approve with PIN. This was requested, I believe, like 100 times in our community channels. And what it does actually, that enables kind of additional step to verify each of operation that you start in a no wallet. So let's for now not enable it. So I will cancel that. And let's see how transfer works in the Nova. So I will transfer just a little amount of KSM tokens on one of my wallets. And as soon as I enter the amount, press continue, I have this confirmation screen, which works as the way for me to kind of review my operation before sending it. And as soon as I tap the confirm, that basically sends the separation. And this process actually works across any feature in the app. Be that the voting, for example, be that any staking operation or whatsoever, you will always have this confirmation screen before you submit the operation to the blockchain. But this is not enough in some cases. For example, you pass the phone to somebody and this person can now do some malicious operations for you. In order to avoid that, you can introduce additional check. So approve with PIN is basically requesting you to enter your PIN code or the biometry, for example, the fingerprint, if this biometry is enabled, in order to additionally verify this after the confirmation. So let's enable and see how it works. So I have just enabled it, and I go to the similar process of basically sending the KSM tokens. So I will enter the amount one more time. Now I see the exactly same screen of confirmation. So let's confirm that. And now, instead of sending it right away, I have this PIN code screen, right? So now I need to enter the valid PIN code or valid biometry, like a finger, like a touch ID, fingerprint, whatever. And if I will enter the wrong PIN code, I cannot submit the separation. So I'm trying to enter the wrong PIN code many times. This is not going through. So if I go back, I can see that I can, yes, confirm it once again. And again, I request it with a PIN code. If I go back here, I can see that basically only one transfer which I sent previously when the setting was off is sent. So no more transfers were sent when I was trying to incorrectly enter the PIN code, which means that I cannot go around this and I have to enter the PIN code. So as soon as I enter the valid one, the transaction is sent, and we can watch it here. We can see the second transfer. It's already submitted and finalized on the blockchain level. So this is the approve with PIN feature. And in order to disable it, so remember this malicious case of me passing the phone to my kid, for example, or to my friend, and they have intent to steal my money. So if I try to disable this, I again ask for my biometry or for my PIN code, right? So I wouldn't be able to just disable it in the settings and go and send it straight away. So this just not will work. So here is that 6.3 version is available on both Android and iOS. So please go ahead to the Google Play and App Store page and enable to the latest version. And let's now go back to the slides. The multi-staking dashboard. So multi-staking dashboard is something what we're working right now. And this is pretty much a big feature for us to introduce to the Polkadot ecosystem. And this is something what is not existing at the moment in any of the application around the ecosystem. So what it is? This basically changes the UX and UI for the staking page in Nova. And this is our next step towards applying the multi-chain approach, right? You can see the multi-chain approach in the Nova wallet whenever you go to the assets page, and you can really see the multi-chain thing whenever you have this all blockchains simultaneously living on one screen. So you can see like the Polkadot. Let me just show it to you. It's easier in this way. So you can see the Qt, Kusama, Ethereum, Moonbeam. You can see all of these blockchains on one single screen because they are connected with a Nova wallet in a lifetime, right? And the balances are updated in a lifetime. So everything is happening in life on one screen. You don't need to switch between the networks in order to see the data. However, if you go right now, and I will use my iOS application here, if you will use the staking now, you basically require to switch between the assets in order to manage them. So I have to switch to Kusama, and the data will be loaded for the Kusama. I have to switch to Aleph Zero, data will be loaded to Aleph Zero. So this is not ideally how the multi-chain application should work, right? So that's about the multi-chain approach. Let's go back to the slide. That basically allows you to see all available staking options at once, right? You can see all active stakes at once with their rewards and stake, right? And on top of that, we also added new access for alternative staking options. And I will show you in a minute what it means. And overall, the multi-staking dashboard is not the only improvement what we do for the staking in this timeline, but this is just a first iteration of the whole staking upgrade for the Nova. And that will include the multi-staking dashboard, which I will show today, nomination pools integration, and also one-click staking approach. We're going to cover them on the next demos, but you can also refer to our Polkadot treasury proposal for more details. But now let's stop on the multi-staking dashboard and see how it works now. I would like to warn you that I'm going to show you the internal dev build version, so things might go wrong. Something can go and be in not proper behavior. However, we did a lot of work already, and you can see how it works already now live. So what I'm showing to you is the actually working the application, which connects to the multiple chains at once and gets all this information from either blockchain or from our subquery indexers. So you can see now that instead of going through each of these blockchains like Kusama, Aleph Zero, Bifrost, I can now see all of my staking active status or any status that they are in. I can see my rewards, which is like a top priority for the user to monitor their income. I can see my stake, which I have for this asset, and I can see the APY rate and the status. If I want to manage this particular asset, I can go into the details of it. And for example, I can stake more, unstake, do the rewards destination change, or any staking management operation. And I can go back to my multi-staking dashboard now, where I can see all of my active stakes and all other options that are available for me. For example, Polkadot, Edgeware, and whatsoever. But this one is a crazy wallet. Let's see something more what people will have. Like they should have the Polkadot, for example, Kusama in a stake, and then they will have this option to see like all of other assets available to be staked via Nova wallet. And the cool thing here is that we will basically bring to the top all the options that are available for you. And you can see that in the Aleph Zero, this particular wallet has certain amount of the tokens, which means that the person can start staking the Aleph Zero. And whenever tokens there are on this wallet, they will be shown on the top, highlighting user that, hey, there is an opportunity for you to earn like this amount of APY per year, right? Now, that's all in cool, but it's also interesting that we have new alternative access to the more staking options. And right now you can see that we have a bunch of the testnets. So some of the users love to play with the testnet, for example, with the Westend. But also what important here is that we now highlighting more these DApps which allow you to stake. For example, the Bifrost, the Astar, and other DApps can easily be accessed from this staking page. Of course, previously you could find them also on the DApps in the staking, right? Here, for example, but that's also a nice touch for us to highlight them in like a staking section. So whenever the user would like to just use the assets page and the staking page, for example, they never use the DApps for some reason, they would now be able to discover these staking DApps from the staking page. We have more plans to utilize the more staking options, but that would be the topic for the next demos. Overall, this is our progress for the multi-staking dashboard. We are planning to release all the staking upgrades iteratively, which means that you will be able to utilize the multi-staking dashboard first. Then we're going to upgrade the staking in the next iteration. Like, let's say we're going to introduce the nomination pools and then more features towards the staking. So we're not going to hold it for a long time. This should be seen relatively soon before like nomination pools and so on, which is good. Everybody loves to get the updates. So this is regarding the multi-staking dashboard. Let me know if there are any questions. And overall, this is wrap up our demo. If you have any questions for the roadmap that we have on our website, feel free to let us know. And also let us know if you have any feature requests that you would like to see in Nova. This is easily accessible from our website. You can just go on novawallet.io to see what we are working on right now, and also how to submit the feature request, how to vote for the feature request. And yeah, basically feel free to submit your features. So that would be it from my side. Let me quickly check the chat if there are any comments. And I think we can stop here. So thanks everyone who joined, and I see you in 2 weeks. Cheers, everyone.